startups since I was 23, so around the turn of the millennium. And I've always, in my professional adult life, I've always been self-sufficient and able to provide for myself and be financially healthy. But several years ago, I got hit in the face by a car in Indonesia, which was kind of leveled me. And I was in rehabilitation for about a year physically, and also just mentally. So I had, for the first time as an adult engineer, been faced with financial hardship. And as I was getting myself back on my feet, I actually, all of this started with one simple fundamental thought, which was, okay, my savings are drained. I've borrowed a little money from friends and family to get back up on my feet and get an apartment. And as I was out there just earning a little bit, one thought came to my mind. Why can't I send a percentage of the money I earn to repay these loans? Why is that not possible? Like, it seemed to me like it should be something that was basic and fundamental for some kind of financial application to be able to do that. So that opened up a whole can of worms as far as reasons why that hasn't been done before. And once I solved that, it opened up all kinds of possibilities for savings, donations, even e-commerce. The ability to, because what we've had up to this point, we've had a few smart apps that have allowed you to intelligently send money from me to me, right? So that's like from my bank account to a savings account or to a savings bucket. But it's just, it has not been perfected. The process of taking a percentage of income, because income is variable, highly personal, and sending it beyond that threshold, past me to me, because it needs to be really precise. The system that's going to automate money intelligently, quote unquote, beyond that threshold, you can't go chase that back down once it goes out. So I put some fail safes into place. For example, one is just, as the transaction's about to go out automatically, I can click a button that just says enable text message confirmations, right? So before that goes out, I get a text message that says, hey, are you sure this money is okay to go out? And then I can hit okay. So that's really the origin story of Paisley, and we've come much further than that original thought, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool what you're doing. I think it will definitely help a lot of people save money, which in the economic environment from 2008, I think that was kind of a problem. After that, and then the next generation of, saving and accumulating wealth. So it's pretty cool. So Julian, give us some details about how you came about with 1FX. And some of the exciting part and adventures of how it became.
Well, 1FX I think came about through a series of failures, and we've tripped over ourselves to where we are now, and started in Argentina. Because I was living down in Argentina, and there was 10%, 20% inflation, whatever it was, and also down in Argentina there are capital controls. I don't know the rules today, but back then, anyways, like if you sold a house, you couldn't take the cash out of the country. So, like literally, people are taking money in bags, across the borders and stuff like that. And inflation was anyways going through the roof. So it was like, man, we got to have a wallet that allows people to hold every single currency in the world. And so that's the name 1FX. And then Bitcoin came out around the same time. So originally the idea was to have a multi-currency wallet that would just free people from capital controls and currency controls of their countries that they lived in. And this inspiration primarily came about, again, through living in Argentina and down in South America and seeing inflation and things like this. And then around the same time that I was starting 1FX, people like Ross Ulbricht, Charlie Schrempf, and others were going to jail around the Bitcoin, and there was a lot of, what's going on in the Bitcoin world. And so, yeah, I didn't really want to get kidnapped, so that was what led to the shift away from crypto coins, of just the uncertainty in that space. And then, I did some stuff in international transfers of the currencies, absolutely. But yeah, the regulation and compliance required to enter the payments industry was really, that was something that I didn't, quote, expect or know about, and was a real sort of slap in the face. As an entrepreneur trying to get off the ground, and then, oh my God, I got to comply with all these laws. Are you kidding me? And a lot of money involved too. But this is how we became what we are now, in the sense that, especially for startups, it's a lot easier to start if you can partner with an existing institution, a bank, a money service business, or what have you, and then, sort of ride underneath their licenses. And so that's what we did, due to, all of our other, so that's what we did. And now we're an FDIC insured, or we offer anyways, FDIC insured accounts for business and personal use. And we're creating a network for businesses primarily to get rid of things like checks, do automated invoices, and just save money and time on their business processes regarding payments and invoicing specifically.
That's pretty cool. So the next question I actually had for you actually led into it already, the regulation involved. So what were some of your hurdles and experiences dealing with the regulation within your sector?
Well, I was so green when I started this whole thing or got into this. I had no idea what's the problem with me sending you $100,000 right now? Why is that an issue? But the governments have made it so that, that's a potential, that's an anti-money laundering thing, right? So you got to have an anti-money laundering policy. And then there's the whole KYC stuff. When you open up these accounts for people and you're sending money and you're transacting in these funds, you've got to know who your customer is today. And what is your KYC process? And not only what is your KYC process, but then you get into user design, the experience for the user. And so that was a big challenge too. For example, the user, in my experience, they don't like to upload things like identification cards, passports, the rest of it. And so, that was a challenge, and has been continuously. We're always, modifying the designs and things like that. But just, making things easy for the user, but while continuing to comply with, all the rules and regulations you got to as well. So that's definitely a challenge for anyone out, or will be, for anybody out there thinking of starting something up.
Yeah, it's much different than other tech industries. I know you had a pretty big tech background prior. What about?
Yeah, the ad tech industry was a lot less regulated when I was playing in it. Yeah.
Yeah. How about yourself, Khellar?
It's funny. Yeah, I was doing ad tech before too, and I just remember it was just Wild Wild West. I'm slinging internet crack rock. It's it is a completely different game in fintech, and the way Paisley moves money is through ACH. So We don't deal with any of the payment card, the PCI compliance stuff, just because we're not dealing with cards yet so far. So really we were just dealing with Nacha. And I spent about the first year of entertaining this idea on LinkedIn, reaching out to every financial app, personal finance app, Exeter, their lawyers, compliance officers from banks and private companies, anybody I could get to talk to me who had been in finance for a certain number of years, dealing with the ACH, who could advise. And it's if anybody's doing any innovation in finance, then they know that it's a conversation that really doesn't have a conclusion. There's no conclusive answer to these problems because nobody's solved them before. So when we're pushing the boundary, that's where the regulators, by just the nature of the beast, they haven't gotten there yet. So one of the things with Paisley is we're moving money automatically out of your account based on a calculation, based on a rule that you set up. So what's the regulation for that? There isn't one specifically for that, but I finally found a fintech lawyer who knew what she was talking about. I mean, to the tune of could summarize my entire year of conversations in 15 minutes and then take it to the next level. So I knew I was in the right place. And she broke it down for me about privity of possession, right? If I can reach in and touch my user's money, then that's another level of risk. But if I cannot touch my user's money, if I'm one step removed by the bank that's giving me agency, that's good for me. It doesn't solve every problem, but it is good for us. So we wrote through our lawyer to Nacha, and they came back and they did have some problems with our initial product. So we added some additional fail safes to our process and to our system, and we got a thumbs up. So it's definitely something that if you have an idea, if you have a fintech idea and you want to do it, the first questions you should be asking are regulatory questions, and going out and exploring that and making sure that you're not just going head on against a regulation. And if you are, you can always write to the regulating body and appeal, say, hey, well, what about this? And what about in this use case? So that's a huge part about doing a fintech company, a fintech startup, that should be front and foremost.
That's great. Yeah, it's definitely quite a bit of regulation depending upon which sector of fintech you're in, but I think it's a pretty big hurdle for everyone in the industry. So I was going to see, what are any future new product releases you're looking at right now? Tell us about your product, like what you have in store for your product, like any new versions, updates. It's all done, beta right now.
Well, I'll speak for Paisley. It's we have been in a private beta. We've just been inviting people one by one, and we are about to come out, pull the sheet off of the product on the showroom floor. in the next week, week and a half. Right now, we're just tightening up the homepage and doing a little initial testing. It might be, let's just say by Thanksgiving at the latest, we'll be public facing, and we'll have registration open for about a month, just so we can get our first round of new users that are not friends, not family, not through our personal networks. We'll be running some ads, and that'll be for our web app. So you can actually get on and use Paisley right now. The first app of its kind through the web interface, and that was some deliberation. And what do we really want to? Do we need to have a mobile app ready for people to use this tool? And what we found is there's sites like Acorns, massive fintech successes have good web portals, and people come through and register through those. So we're going to be really, if anybody out there is interested in using Paisley, come on and keep checking back. Check back in 2 weeks, and that's pays.ly. Just goes to our homepage, and you can actually be a part of our private beta program, or our initial beta program, where we're just going to be building our product around your feedback. So come on, try it out. It's safe and stable, and it's really a beautiful thing.
That's pretty cool. So mention the name a little bit. So tell us about the name, because I thought it was a pretty interesting background of the name of your company, Paisley.
Well, I mean, the original idea was I'm out doing all this maintenance, right? Like, I make the same decision every month. Like, if I'm going to pay my mom back, I'm going to pay my brother back. I'm making the same decision. I realize once every couple weeks is, how much money do I have? How much money can I spare? What are my priorities? And so I wish that I had an app that could pay them like I would pay them. So I thought, pays like you, so that's the acronym. But it's also just got a good ring to it. I love a one-word play on a word. And then if you notice, our logo is a narwhal.
What's that?
A narwhal is a unicorn whale, and they actually exist. It's not a horn like a bull or a unicorn, but it's a tooth actually, and the tooth senses the water as the whale swims. So in a sense, it's testing the water, which is what Paisley does. We test the water of your bank account. Is it safe? Is it okay to go forward with this plan? And then on another level, I'm an artist, so I geek out about this stuff. The Paisley shape, if you don't know, Paisley pattern is it's a pattern from a fabric pattern that was originated in the town of Paisley from Scotland, and the shape of Paisleys are vaguely whale-like. So when I was a kid, I always looked at these Paisley patterns and I'd see whales. So I adopted the whale as our logo, and I liked it because it had a fin for finance. And we made sure that the fin was a really strong shape, and then it had this horn like a unicorn. So the way I look at it is it's financial magic for everyday finance.
There you go. Cool. So Julian, anything with the product releases coming up? Anything exciting? Give us the latest.
Yeah, so we've done our sort of beta, what have you, is we've done about 500,000 worth of deposits, transactions, and we're implementing same-day ACH right now, the ability to do mass same-day ACH payments. We've got a mobile application that works 100%. And our desktop version, which is responsive, is on the doorstep. So yeah, I mean, we could really release any time. So yeah, by the end of probably November, certainly by the end of the year, yeah, we're ready to go, and we'll be on Android, and then we have a responsive desktop version for everybody else.
That's pretty cool.
And then going forward in the future, what we're really doing is we're eliminating things like checks and a lot of various business processes. So we want to continue to work on adding, I think, automation type features that eliminate and facilitate various business processes that people have. So for example, when they invoice, they pay, all of that's reconciled, like with their accounting systems, whether that's, a Quicken or what have you. So we want to continue working on all of those things just to continue automating and making business processes for businesses just faster and easier.
Uh-huh.
So
And,
that's what our focus will be.
And I think you mentioned before something about like your marketplace. That sounded quite interesting for the people within your that are connected to your app. Tell us about the marketplace.
Yeah, so basically 1FX, it's an FDI, it's a bank account is what it is. And then it's got all of your sort of small business payments and invoicing features built in. So at Bank of America, for example, you pay $10 a month for the account, then you pay another $10 and they give you 5 invoices. You pay, various fees on top. So with 1FX, this is like a small business bank account sort of on steroids in the sense that it's all built in. And then all of the wallets, as I call them, all of the accounts are all, it's a platform. They're all connected. So this enables, well, first of all, a user can do payouts, pay in, pay out, obviously. But then on the network, we can do instant payments on the network. And so this also allows us to eliminate fees for merchants, especially manufacturers and or like inside salespeople and or frankly anyone. So like an Etsy salesperson, for example, I think Etsy takes something like 8% from all of their merchants. There's no reason that has to be the paradigm or the reality that we live in. Transaction fees can be lowered dramatically, and payments can be done faster. So on the 1FX platform, a business can do a payment of up to $50,000, out of the box instantly to one of their partners, and at a fee of 10 cents instantly. So saving time, saving money, moving considerable volume, and saving on the fees. The amount of time it takes to get a check, for example, and or the fees you're paying to PayPal or Etsy, what have you. If you can get on the 1FX platform, you can eliminate all of this. Your fees can go down from, let's say 3% down to 10 cents or $1. So huge cost and time savings for business and just individuals, anybody selling anything, any type of merchant.
And within your platform, it actually has the ability for those merchants to acquire new clients, right?
Yeah, so basically the end sort of vision for 1FX is we really want to create a global network, basically like a global Alibaba or a global eBay or global Yellow Pages, but with a built-in banking and payments infrastructure behind it, so that I can do a transaction instantly to a guy. So I'm sitting here in California. I can do that right now. We've got it working domestically. I can do an instant payment to the guy in New York or whatever at a really low cost. But eventually that'll be global, and it'll be in an environment that is insured by the banks. And it'll be in an environment where we have KYC in place. And so it's a secure and safe environment. And that's really important for businesses, especially. I mean, you know, people can debate this all day, but I'll just make a statement and say that, you know, a business cannot go on to the quote, the blockchain and start doing these type of transactions. They need to be in a secure environment where, you know, people's identities are known. There's, you know, an insurance on the accounts. And so that's what we're trying to do. And that's what we are doing. So
That sounds pretty cool. So yeah, any other further notes from you guys? Like, if you're looking to raise capital or anything, like, you know, anything else, promotions or anything like that, you guys want to let everyone know?
Yeah, we are doing a raise. We're doing a seed raise at the moment. We are seeking 1.5 million, and we're opening with 500,000 tranche. So at the moment, our objective is to raise that 500 in the short term. So you know, we're aware that there's a certain profile of investor that actually still invests on a product pre-traction, which is also why we're just moving forward and doing this marketing release in the next couple weeks, is so that we can find out for ourselves if we're on the right course. And I think some faith from investors will follow once we have some numbers.
Right on, cool. Anything with you, Julian?
as for me, my door is always open. I love taking phone calls, emails, all the rest of it. And, you know, especially if you're a business out there and, you know, you're paying contractors, you're selling this, that, or the other thing, I'd love to talk to you. I think I can save you some time, make you some more money. And as for the investors, you know, come on in. The door's open. So, but we're moving ahead. So that's
Nice.
what we're doing.
What's your Twitter handle?
It's at 1FXPay. 1FXPay.com.
Cool. Khellar,
And we're at Paisley, Paysly.
Cool. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. It's LA Fintech. These are the award winners for the 2017 LA Fintech Awards. We have Paisley and 1FX. Divy couldn't make it today, but you know,
Great company.
we just keep on going. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks,
Julian.
Kevin.